Hello? Hello?
Hi, this is Amanda with Secure Life. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks for asking. I'm calling to let you know about this new final expense whole life insurance plan that's been approved by your state. It's designed to cover up to 100% of the needed expenses, regardless of your health conditions and age. Have you seen some of our ads on the TV or received a card in the mail about it?
Yes.
These plans are now available to you with no medical exams or personal visits to your home. So how about I schedule a call for you with one of our specialists so they can educate you more about the plan? Would that be okay?
Yes.
When would you like to call? In the morning, afternoon, or evening?
Afternoon.
In order for me to pre-qualify you, let me ask you a few simple questions. Please note you're speaking to Amanda on a recorded line. Could you please state your first name?
Lindsay.
And your last name?
Gardner.
All right. And how old are you?
67.
All right. Would the plan be just for yourself?
Yes.
And you're still in the state of California?
Yes.
All right. And do you have an active life insurance policy at the moment?
No.
All right. And you're open to learning about our options, right?
Yes.
Do you smoke?
No.
Who would you nominate as your beneficiary? It could be a daughter, a son.
My daughter.
All right. And you make your own financial choices, right?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Let's wrap this up. Are you a homeowner or are you renting?
Renting.
And this is the best number to contact you.
Yes.
I do understand that you have an active checking or savings account, right?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time today. Our licensed agent will contact you with more information about the final expense insurance plan. Have yourself a nice day, ma'am.
Do you happen to know her name so I know who to expect the call from?
I can give you a color
Okay, yeah, that would help.
so you could know who's calling.
Yeah.
Would you like red, blue?
Let's go with blue.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Hey, Lindsay, this is Trey. Hope you're doing well today. I'm just getting back to you because it looks like you recently spoke with my assistant Amanda about the new final expense plans available to you out in California. You remember that?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, I'm the representative that was assigned to help you today. I just wanted to verify a few pieces of information with you here. Won't take too much of your time. Now, just to make sure, I have here you were looking to make your daughter the beneficiary of the policy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And what's your daughter's name?
Julie.
Julie. All right. We're just going to keep Julie in mind as we look to see what we might be able to get you covered for today. Now, I see here you are 67. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Just so I am able to relay over the most accurate information to you here, I am just going to have a couple quick questions for you.
He asked if this policy was just for me or for other people, if I use tobacco, if I'm taking any prescription medications, if I had any recent surgeries or major medical problems like cancer, diabetes, stroke, heart attacks, etc., if I'm working or retired, if I get Social Security and how it's deposited to me, and if I make my own financial decisions. Weren't we supposed to have like a favorite color or something? I could have sworn they said something about that.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, have him mention the favorite color. I'm like, oh.
It says blue here.
Yeah, that's correct.
It says blue. That's actually funny because usually, so with all of my other names here on my list, none of them have that except for you.
Because I think they were like Indian. They were like in a call center and they had like Indian accents and they're like state regulated.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different people that I get the names and numbers from. Some have accents, some don't. I mean, it just depends on the person.
Yeah.
It's just like a customer service type thing, right? It all depends on what's happening, where they're from. America is a very diverse place, so there's all types of people for sure.
He then proceeds to ask how long I've lived in California, if I have family locally, if my kids have blessed me with grandkids, what I did for work before I retired, and how long I was an accountant. Just basic small talk while we wait for the quotes to come in. I gotta say, Trey was quite professional in this interaction. How long have you been doing insurance?
I've been doing this for a few years now. So I'm still relatively young. I'm still in my 20s, so this is pretty much what I've been doing for the majority of my young career. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it for sure. All right. Well, now that I have learned a little bit about you and your family, I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about me and what I do. So I'm a life insurance broker. So I actually work with 40 of the largest insurance carriers in the country. So what I'm able to do for my clients, for you, is scan that entire marketplace, finding and getting you the lowest possible rate on the market based on your current age and health, right? So I work in the best companies in order to set you up with the most competitive rate that I can find for you. Now, another important part of my job as a state representative for California is to show you and explain to you the coverage that you may be in need of, and then finding that coverage to be within your budget. That's not going to be an issue today.
We proceed to discuss the average costs of the end-of-life arrangements. I mentioned that a cremation is around $5,000 and a funeral is around $15,000. He asks me if I've ever had to plan a funeral, and I mentioned that no, but my coworker had her husband die, and one thing we figured out was that she couldn't just pull from her husband's retirement accounts to pay for the funeral. I definitely gave myself away by being this precise, showing that I've been around the block a few times, but as I've mentioned in the past, I fucking hate final expense calls. There's so, this call number 2 is 20 minutes long, and I just can't stay in character that long. I hate these calls so much. So I definitely gave myself away a little bit, but whatever.
I'm impressed. You're definitely one of the more self-aware clients that I've talked to when it comes to this topic. So that's going to make my job a whole lot easier.
Trey proceeds to tell me that there are 3 reasons why somebody would want a life insurance policy: for a funeral or for income replacement for dependents. But I mentioned to him that for income replacement, you'd probably want a term policy, not a whole life policy. Again, totally outing myself, but whatever. And finally, to leave a legacy behind, which was his words, but basically leave money behind for your children to, I guess, go on a shopping spree or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like you should be doing my job for me here, Lindsay. I mean, you're pretty much going through my entire process here of explaining what different coverages and for and everything. So now, there is a few things we do want to accomplish today. Now, the first and the most important is we want to make sure that the coverage is going to be sustainable for you each month, right? I like to tell my clients, it doesn't matter if you have $1,000 in coverage or $1 million. If you can't afford it every single month, it's not going to do anything for you, right? Now, Lindsay, just so I am able to put together the best possible package for you here, about how much would you say you are bringing home on a monthly basis income-wise?
While on this call, I was waiting for an important Amazon package, and the package arrived, so I left Trey talking into the void while I went to go get it. But never fear, I called him back.
This is Trey. We spoke earlier about getting you started with some life insurance. You remember our conversation?
Yes.
I think we got disconnected earlier.
So, Trey, I got to tell you, my name is Lindsay, but I'm a journalist. I'm investigating, you know how people get lots of like scam calls or spam calls, like random numbers that call you out of the blue, and you're like, I don't recognize this number. What the heck's going on? I get a lot of them from a lot of different sources. Medicare benefits. They think I've been in a car accident in the last 2 years. So like, you've been in a car accident, your compensation pending, debt relief, you name it, I've gotten it.
Yeah, trust me, I get plenty of scam calls myself, Lindsay. I completely understand.
Though I haven't gotten one for the car warranty yet, like the most classic. We've been trying to reach you, but
the extended warranty.
I haven't gotten one yet. I'm so mad. What the hell?
You're waiting for it.
Yeah. So I went back through, after we finished, I went back through my call recordings, and I found the one that leads to you. It was she had kind of a British accent a little bit, and she says she's from Secure for Life, about, new final expense whole life insurance plans that are regulated by my state, blah, blah, blah. And so as
I have the call. It's on recording.
Someone will call you back. But I mean, like, they're just cold calling. They're just calling numbers at random to see what sticks. They don't know who you are. They don't know how old you are. They don't know anything about who they're calling. They're just throwing stuff out.
Telemarketers, for sure.
Did you know that?
Did I know what?
That's how the leads are being generated. They're just calling numbers at random and hoping something sticks.
They have a group of people that they call. I'm just pretty sure, but that's essentially how they work. Yeah, there's different types of leads, but that's how this certain vendor works.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't really like respect the do not call list. They don't really have like your demographics.
They do. So they have a scrub system.
Is that what they tell you?
That's what they have. Yes, because they have every lead source has problems with it.
Yeah.
Has had problems with it. So yeah, they are diligent, and they've had some problems with it. So that's why they're diligent in their scrubbing.
Yeah, but again, it's not like they have a definitive like demographic information. They're just kind of calling random numbers and seeing what sticks. And of course, they spoof their own number. So if you try to call them back, you can't reach them, which is, I don't know what legit company does that, you know? Like, why would you, and then you call the number back on the caller ID and it's not in service. Like, why would you do that, you know?
Are you asking why would I do it?
Well,
I
mean,
just called it.
not you. This is your right
Oh,
caller ID. Why would they do that? Because again, that's the thing. That's how I got to you, was through these lead generators.
right. I mean, I have plenty of clients that I have gotten from these people that are thankful for my services. Like, if people tell me that they're on the do not call list or whatever, I don't call them again. Like, I'm compliant with all the TCPA violations, regulations, everything like that. So, yeah, I have the calls on recording. I understand how it works.
Yeah, I mean, if that works for you, then nothing I can say to that.
I mean, I've like I told you, I have plenty of clients. These people, sure, there's an outlier every once in a while, someone like you who is just messing around, right? But then I can just talk to them and get them replaced. Like, I've had people in the past that are just like younger people that just are messing around, like giving fake information. It happens. That's how lead sources are. You can do a Facebook form and people can fill it out and lie about information. That's just part of the business of any telesales job. I don't really know what other information you're really looking for.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I was going to let you know that's how they're getting their leads, but you know, and you're okay with it because it works out in the end most of the time, which is fair. I mean, leads are leads, money.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been working with these people. I've been working with these people for years. I have coworkers who've been working with these people for decades. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a new thing. It's not. I'm aware of everything that I'm doing with my job. This isn't the only way I find clients. These people, I deal with people all over the country, right? This isn't the only lead vendor that I use. It's just one.
Are you able to tell me who the lead vendor is? Because they identified themselves as Secure for Life, but I don't know if that's like an accurate.
Yeah, so like I told you when we were talking earlier, I'm an independent broker, so I work with a number of companies, Mutual of Omaha, Liberty Bankers, Transamerica, just to name a few. So
you work for yourself, but like, who's the lead generator?
Like, what do you mean by the lead generator?
Well,
they just call themselves solid leads. If that's what you.
I'm not into litigation. I'm like, I'm going to sue you. I'm a journalist. I don't really do litigation, so I don't care about that part.
Trust me, I've had situations with people I know that there's people out there that just do that for a living. So
yeah, some attorney reached out to me like, yeah, your calls are really cool. You want to make some money off of it? I'm like, I don't. It's like ambulance chasing, man. Just
it's kind of, I don't know. In my opinion, it's just kind of scummy because, at least for me personally, I can't speak for other agents. I am looking in the best interest of my clients.
Yeah.
If I find someone that's not mentally stable or capable, like, I'm not trying to hurt anyone. Like, that's why when people like call me a scammer or whatever, like, it doesn't even get to my head anymore because I know that I'm looking out for the best interest of people and people actually need these products. So even if someone like you is like just looking for a story, like, you're going to put your name on the list, but there are hundreds, thousands of people that I've talked to that do actually need this. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's just people talk, you know? Yeah, for sure. No, I could definitely, I was definitely a little bit skeptical when I was talking to you just because of your knowledge.
Yeah, I definitely, I try my best to act dumb, but I definitely gave it away when I already knew like the pricing and everything. I'm sure you were like, he's been through this before, and I've done this so many times. You have no idea. I've lost count how many.
I mean, I've had people mess with me so many times. Like, I play along. Like, I got that maybe there was a chance, like, maybe you were messing around, but like, there are times when I can tell someone's name is not Jerry and they're not 70 years old, right? Like, it's just how people are. You get used to it. It is kind of annoying sometimes when it's like a waste of time when like I could be talking to someone who really needs it, but at the end of the day, like, I'll find other people to help. It's just like I've had people that have had trouble with TCPA stuff when in reality they didn't do anything wrong. Like, people are just out to get them, and certain people like in law enforcement, like, I've heard of judges that just like, if anyone presents a TCPA case, they'll just automatically let them win. Like, it's a tough industry to be in, but it's definitely rewarding, and one with, obviously, like you said, the pay is not too bad, but people actually like enjoy the help. Like, I have clients that actually enjoy my work, so people talk and they say, oh, whatever, you're a scammer, this, that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, you know?
I'm never against anyone at the end product, you know, because again, you didn't call me. They did. So my beef should be with your lead generator, not with you. So that's why I don't cuss you out or call you. I have no problem with you, man. You're chill. It's fine.
I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. But I mean, while I do have you on the phone, do you have any coverage in place for yourself or your loved ones?
This fucking guy gets busted by a journalist. You want life insurance? You gotta respect it, man. He's a hustler. He's grinding. To be clear, I cannot pin a TCPA or DNC violation on Trey. This call occurred on a text now burner number, and I never verified if that number was on the do not call list. So I can't confidently say that Trey violated the do not call list with this call. However, I know that the call center that he used did routinely violate the do not call list because they called me at my DNC numbers. I actually have a whole video about my interactions with Secure for Life, and I managed to get a callback number for them and troll them, and that was a lot of fun. Check out that video if you haven't already. Link in the doobly-doo. However, what I can pin on Trey is that I'm explicitly telling him that his call center, his lead generator is just randomly calling people. They have no demographic information. They don't know who these people are. It's not about submitted information. They're just auto dialing every number in America, fishing for leads. And he couldn't give any less of a shit. He just did not care, which is really ironic because he himself says, God.
Yeah, trust me, I get plenty of scam calls myself, Lindsay. I completely understand.
So then why are you using these lead generators? Are you not part of the problem? Anyway, so Trey says that his lead generator is Solid Leads. And, you know, that's one of the things people have often told me, why don't you just like go after the lead generators instead of exposing innocent insurance salesmen? Why don't you just go after the marketing companies and the overseas call centers? Well, I would love to, but nobody's willing to tell me who their lead generator is. So that was awfully nice of him. I tried looking them up, and I did find a LinkedIn profile for Solid Leads and their description. They are telemarketers. They have lots of experience. They will provide lots of different clients. You can buy different quantities of leads, apparently. Then they'll provide a call recording, which Trey mentioned they did. So this appears to be the right company. Their website, solidleads.net, doesn't go anywhere. Like, it's just a blank page, as you can see. However, if you use the Wayback Machine, we can see this entry from March 2020, and it has a About Us section, and the description is very similar to what you see on LinkedIn. I couldn't really find much about this company. I couldn't find like contact information or a street address or anything. But this appears to be the company he's using. Granted, he could have just lied to me. You know, I lied to him. He could lie to me. He could be using a completely different lead generator. We'll never know. But if he's telling the truth, then this appears to be who he bought my lead from. All right, so who's Trey? Well, whenever I hear the name Trey, I think of this guy. Anyway, finding Trey was a lot harder than I thought it would be. He did not give me his last name nor his NPN, and typical open source intelligence techniques just didn't seem to pull up anything. His phone number traced to his mom. That's not a joke. Your mom. It actually is his mother's name on the caller ID, which I did not know at the time. I looked everywhere and tried everything, and I just could not find any more information about this guy. I was gonna have to like call him and pretend to want to buy insurance and then casually ask him for his last name or something throughout the process, and that was gonna be a lot of work. So I just decided to go for broke and Google his phone number, and that led me to his Facebook page. Now, I want to make it very clear, I'm not Facebook friends with him. This is completely public information. This post is on his page. You can look it up yourself and find it very easily. Because of YouTube's privacy guidelines, I do have to block out the picture and the phone number, but it is completely public information that you can find yourself if you wanted to. Anyway, he has this post dated the 14th of April, 2023, where he talks about recently getting a job as an independent life insurance broker, and that if you need any life insurance stuff or your family members need anything, you can call or text him at that phone number, and that phone number, which again is blocked out, is the exact same phone number that was on the caller ID when he called me. What I find most interesting is that he told me that he has been doing life insurance.
Oh, I've been doing this for a few years now. So I'm still relatively young. I'm still in my 20s. So this is pretty much what I've been doing for the majority of my young career.
But this post is dated the 14th of April, 2023. So a year and 8 months. That's multiple years. Maybe he worked with a different company at the time, but this was his first time actually posting this to Facebook. I have no idea. I mean, but like, why lie about that if it's only been like a year and 8 months? No one's gonna judge you for that. Everyone has to get their start somewhere. This post also contains some badly cropped photos from Roman Financial Group that appears to be his broker. All life insurance agents, even though they all claim to be independent and not work for anybody, that means that they don't work for a particular insurance company, but they're almost always affiliated with a broker because the broker is the one who helps them, get all the quotes and handle the paperwork and all that different stuff. And so this appears to be his broker. I'm not going to dig further into them because they're not the ones responsible for the lead. It was a different company, obviously, but this is what's in the post. So this is where things get interesting. Based off the Facebook profile, we now have a full name of Trey Woodrich. I didn't ask Trey where he lives, but his mother lives in Washington, so we're going to guess that. Now, I like to use the Florida life insurance lookup because it's by far the most detailed. But when you look up Trey Woodrich, there are no results. Okay, well, maybe he's just not licensed in Florida. Not all agents are licensed in all states. But if you look him up in California, which is where Lindsay lives, so therefore he should be licensed in California if he's trying to sell me a policy in California, there also is no Trey Woodrich in California. If we check Washington, there likewise again is no licensed Trey Woodrich in the state of Washington. At this point, I was going a little crazy because, how is he not in here? How is he not licensed in any of the states? He was trying to sell me a policy. How is he selling policies without being? This makes no sense. So I thought maybe he's using a different last name. So instead of looking him up by first name and last name, I looked him up by first name, and then I used the city field in the Washington state lookup to look at every single city where his mother had lived. And through that process, I learned there's a place in Washington called Nooksack, which is absolutely fucking hilarious. I want to live in Nooksack. When scammers call me, I'm going to tell them I live in Nooksack. But anyway, even doing that, let's say he's using a different last name. That's why he's not showing up. He didn't show up in any of these cities. So I don't mean to imply that this gentleman is not licensed because, I can't prove that obviously, but I'm not finding him in any of the state registries under the name that he goes by. And so maybe he goes by a different name. Maybe it's just an agency licensure, so he doesn't have his own one. He just uses the agency one. I don't really know what the fuck's going on here. I've never seen this before. And again, I don't want to legally imply that he's selling policies without being licensed, but this is the name that's on his Facebook page. This is what he goes by, but he's not listed in any of these pages, and I don't really know why. I did text Trey a request for comment. I mean, this is kind of unnecessary because he's already made it abundantly clear that he doesn't give a flying fuck about this being how he gets his leads. But, maybe he had a change of heart, and also asking if he's willing to help me figure out why he's not listed as licensed in any of the states that he's trying to sell insurance in. But unfortunately, Trey did not respond to my request for comment. I did some additional digging and I found this phenomenal post on Reddit about Roman Financial. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can pause and read it. But essentially, they describe the sort of hustle and grind culture where they want you to be talking to everybody you know about life insurance. They specify buying leads, and the leads are quite expensive. So that's clearly a thing that happens. This seems to be organized like an MLM where you have uplines and downlines. And so I'm thinking maybe that's what's happening with Trey. Maybe he's not a licensed agent. He's just getting leads for his upline. And that might be why it took him forever to get a quote for me because, if he was able to access the quote software himself, then it wouldn't be a problem. But since he's doing it, if he's doing it for his upline, then obviously he'd have to wait for the quotes to come back to him because he's not a licensed agent himself. There's also information about how the leadership wants you to deal with leads. We were basically trained to harass people until they gave in to us. We were told to keep calling leads until we were blocked. We could not take no for an answer. Apparently, the third-party leads are pushed because the owners get kickbacks from them, and not many people know this. Either way, they're illegal because they're originating from overseas, and so the do not call list is violated, which is what I clearly mentioned. Trey claims that they don't violate the do not call list, everything's above board, but according to these posters, they're not. This whole thread is quite insightful, and I will link it in the doobly-doo. But if this really is what the culture is like at Roman Financial, then I can kind of understand why Trey is the way he is. And I'm slightly sympathetic, though I'm still going to expose him, and I'm still going to add his name to the list.